Hi, everyone. Welcome to SciStarter Ambassador Insight Series, celebrating Citizen Science Month. I'm your host, Tara Cox. Just kidding. This is an informal gathering to help us celebrate all the work that we've been doing together since October. And we're excited to see so many people here. We'll wait another minute or so to get others, give others some time to join. In
You
the
are,
meantime, go ahead, Emma.
I just wanted to say you are welcome to have your camera on for this. It is a celebration type event. It is, although not advertised as such, if you want to grab a drink to celebrate, you are welcome to. Not required. But this is the time where we get to celebrate you all. So not exactly a professional development webinar, although a lot of what we're going to be talking about is professional development. So
Yeah. There's lots of learning that will happen, but this is an informal event. And we're just happy to be together in our virtual SciStarter Ambassador world. Okay, so welcome. In the meantime, as people are coming in and joining us, we did extend this one to an hour. We've been trying to keep them to 45 minutes, but we have 3 amazing presentations today from ambassadors, so we wanted to give people ample time. If we end early, we end early. But in the meantime, while people are joining, where are you calling in from? And what was your Citizen Science Month highlight? I am in Philadelphia, and it is very humid and rainy here. And my highlight was supporting you all. It was really fun to see all the events that were happening and the posts on social media and just creating lots of fun things to send out to folks. And we were just so excited by everybody. Welcome, everybody from New York, Texas, Mesa, Arizona, Appleton, Wisconsin, in Farmington, Bozeman. Susie says, oh, so wait, hold on. Let's see. Desari says my favorite event was my highlight was having my first event. Yay, which we're gonna hear about. Lucky enough to hear about. Susie said highlight was connecting with a teacher who wants to bring citizen science through their entire elementary school. Love that, and we'll definitely can learn from that. That sounds awesome. Kit in Oregon says knowing that there were others doing things. Totally agree with you. It's really inspiring when you know that other things are happening and other people are doing this great work. It's definitely a motivator. Meeting several ambassadors. Oh yeah, Emma was on site for some events, meeting with ambassadors. The Great Sunflower Project, love it. Marcia says that. Darren, we're gonna hear from. Oh my gosh, cool. Zooming in from Detroit. That's great. I didn't know you weren't in LA, your hometown. Awesome. Calling in from New York. Yay. All right, let's get started. As I said, today is an informal, fun event. We're just here. Feel free to unmute at any point and share things and chat with each other. There's a little bit of structure to this. As a reminder, this series is designed to help bring us this network together in an informal, interactive way to learn from each other, to connect with other experts, to learn about projects that are beyond the BioBlitz. We're excited. Encouraging knowledge sharing, collaborative learning, and really to gather feedback from you all, which we love, and we've been getting a lot of in our emails, and we love to see it. Lots of broken links on SciStarter that we fix all the time when you're like, where's that thing you said that was going to be there? I'm like, oh, here it is, or I need this thing, and we make it. Okay, so we'll look at the program as a whole just really quickly, and then Emma's going to talk about some highlights that she's been distilling from all of the evaluation and the and SciStarter and the data that we have. And then we're going to hear from 3 events from 4 ambassadors with 3 events. And then we'll have time to chat and share with each other. And Emma's going to then take us through what's next. Okay, so yay! We've now onboarded all 5 certified ambassador cohorts in this round of funding. So there will be no more certified ambassadors right now. You are the ambassador cohort until we know more, which we're hoping to know more soon, and to bring other people on. But it's really exciting. And as I mentioned, this started back in the summer. We launched the ambassador program in July and had people applying throughout the summer. And the first cohort was onboarded in October. And then we've done subsequent cohorts throughout the year, every couple of months or so. And we are now up to 212 certified ambassadors. Woo! Our goal was 200, so we've exceeded our goal across 42 states, which is pretty impressive. We'll have to reach out to some of the states that aren't on there. We have no libraries in Hawaii and no ambassadors in Hawaii, so Emma and I were thinking we might need to go to Hawaii.
Yes.
Like boots on the ground, do a little recruitment there. What do you say, Emma?
I vote yes, and I know of someone who was involved in a citizen science project in Hawaii, so we have a reason. We have a
Oh, great.
destination.
We just need the funding for it.
Yes.
So I think I have like the top 10 states here. Coming in at number one, New York State with 17 ambassadors. Number two, Virginia coming in hot with 15 ambassadors. Obviously, California, that was not that much of a surprise given how many people live in California. 13 ambassadors. Arizona, which is where the library project started with citizen science. So we have a lot of connections there. With 11, North Carolina, which is awesome. And we also have our research affiliate at the University of North Carolina there, which helps. And then we got some great ones in the what do you call this? Midwest Eastern region. Wisconsin with 7. Go Wisconsin. We love Wisconsin. Michigan, we love. Darren, I feel like you can be from both, right? Like you can moonlight as a Michigan ambassador as well as a California ambassador. Um, let's see, where am I at? Ohio with 7, Florida with 7, and then Pennsylvania and New Jersey, which is where I am. So we do have some other connections there. So, unsurprising to see these as top, but it's great to see the whole list having lots of ambassadors everywhere. And our goal is to be in all 50 states and international. And then thank you all for continuing to complete all of the surveys and evaluation. It's really helping us to better understand what we're doing well and what we can improve on. And I'm happy to report this is, I think, the first 2 cohorts that I have here. 95% of ambassadors say that the program so far has helped to increase their confidence, knowledge, and skills to be effective champions of citizen science. So we hope it's working, and we have some evidence that it's working. And then 100% of ambassadors reported a desire to help engage their community in a citizen science project, which is like not surprising given that's what the role is for an ambassador. But it is good to see that even after going through all of the training and all of the onboarding and expectations, that people are still interested in it. And as you complete these surveys, we'll keep sharing this back out with you so that you can see your own impacts. But I'm going to turn it over to Emma to talk about the real fun results from and early results. You're like the Steve Kornacki of Citizen Science Month. He's the guy that does all the MSNBC like early results. No, you don't know it.
Oh,
Okay,
I was like,
showing
do
my
I know that
political
name?
nerdiness. I know others know who Steve Kornacki is. Okay, Emma, with the early results from Citizen Science Month, go for it.
Yes, and these are definitely early. I'm literally combing through details and data right now and before this event and later tonight, so there will be more. But here is the fun stuff I can share with you all now. So for first and foremost, I thought it would be fun to be able to see all the projects that were done in order of popularity. So some of these bigger words you might be familiar with, or maybe you did events with these or you participate in some of these. But it's really fun to see there were about over 545 projects, I believe. I wrote it in a later slide, that were benefited during the month of April. So this is just a snapshot of the amazing amounts of projects that got some serious benefit from people's participation. So by project, awesome stuff. On the next slide, there it is. So we were able to calculate the reach of Citizen Science Month via social media. So when we looked at using the hashtags 1 million acts of science we asked you to use, hashtag Citizen Science Month, Sit Sci Month, a couple others at SciStarter, hashtag SciStarter. We were reaching over 14 million people, which is crazy. And when I say reaching 14 million people, that means 14 million people looking at these posts, not just like having the potential of seeing these posts. So this is a crazy improvement on previous years too. We have a lot of evidence for people being able to suddenly see these words in front of them, and a lot of partners that were able to help us do this. So along with all of you, and all the amazing posts going on, if you saw the Wall of Fame on the main page for Citizen Science Month, I hope you saw some of your posts. We also had a lot of partnerships through different organizations and projects, or NASA, NOAA, et cetera, who posted on our behalf too. So just be aware that you are a part of a bigger system, a bigger family with some serious impact of people and impact of agencies and organizations grouping together. We had nearly 500,000 people involved in total, which is crazy to think about. So 500,000 folks around the world participating and being aware of Citizen Science Month, and up to about 136 different countries. That's an estimate based on like Google Analytics and such. So essentially, we had interest from all those countries. Not we're not sure how much interaction of which projects and such. Of course, we can't do that much data mining, but it is really cool because this is higher than last year. We were at 10 less than that last year. I think it was 126. So a fun little bump of 10, which is awesome. So on the next slide, more highlights. So for all of your events, you got people talking about these topics. So these were like the most important, the most important and the most prominent topics within the projects that were done over the month. So you'll notice that citizen science is one, which is a little silly, but the rest of them make a little bit more sense as far as topics go. So we did a lot of work with conservation, nature and the outdoors. Birds were a big one. Thank you to all the birders out there. Some of you really wanted to bring in some AI and machine learning conversation, and a lot of project leaders talked about that too. So thank you to you for bringing all these topics to light and to get people actually excited to participate. Awesome. And then this is my favorite slide right now because it just shows how massive this month was. So you know how it was 1 million exoscience? Well, we passed 3 million, so that's pretty exciting. And so we hit 3 million a couple days before the end of the month, and then we're adding in the last bits of information that project leaders have been sending to us. They're like, oh, whoops, sorry, here's the data. So we're still adding a couple of them, so it hopefully won't move too much from this, but it's incredible to have that much effort done in one month and have such a big increase. Last year we had, and I didn't have it in front of me. There it is. Last year we had 1.13 million. So this is a significant increase. So thank you all for being a part of this. And a big part of that is actually having you all out there and spreading the word and getting people to do activities with you. Something to take away from this too is that 1/3 of the active participants in the month did more than 5 projects, or 5 projects or more, which is way higher than previous years. Last year we were able to say that 1/3 did 2 or more, but this is considerable. This is a considerable increase. So not only did you get people doing citizen science and get people engaged in SciStarter, but these folks who are joining SciStarter and participating are people who are just kind of just curious. They're just like you. They're going and doing a lot of different projects for the fun of it. So amazing job, and I'm very excited to share that one at our conference at the end of the month too. We had 415 events that were registered, and there are still more being added in from some of you, and also some that were unreported. If you did have an event, feel free to still add it in, that if you haven't already, because I will still count it if it happened during April. And that just means adding it to the scistarter.org/add dash project or dash event, or just go to /add and it will be there. And 70 of those events that are in that 415 were from you all, and we got those reported from the gosh, what's it called, the reflection document, the activity reflection. So you all did an amazing job to have that many of you all doing events during April, like with a quick turnaround of just starting to be an ambassador and like, yes, I will do an event in April. This is a big deal. So we're really excited and really proud of you all and very grateful for everything that you did. And then on the last slide, which might be my last one. Oh, yeah. Okay, so If you recall back in the day, we talked a little bit about if you came to one of the Preparing for Citizen Science Month events, we talked about the goals of citizen science. So I just want to report back on how we're doing on those goals. So that first one, increase awareness of participation in citizen science. I feel like we've made it clear that that has happened, but if you hit the next button, we'll also see some more stats about that. Ta-da! So we had more than 8,000 people join SciStarter, which is great. I have a feeling that many of them were from you all. And then 11,000 people got badged, which essentially means that they did the digital badges, oh my gosh, what are they called? The programs, the foundations of citizen science, the modules, the training modules, excuse me. So 11,000 people doing training modules throughout the month and participating in 1 million acts. That's a really, really big deal. So a lot of people became aware and became even more aware just doing more educational work for themselves. Our second goal was to increase the capacity of facilitators and organizations to engage the public. I think we definitely hit that. 136 of you are public on the directory. So 212 of you total in existence and certified, and 136 of you are ready to roll and ready to bring people in. And that was what created 165 more events than last year. So either the 70 or so of the ones that were done by you all and the increase from general awareness increasing. And then that last one, the amplifying the the outcomes of scientific research made possible by participants. This is something that we still need to look into, so we don't have a ton of info to share. The one thing I can share that I've said earlier was 545 projects benefited, and we're starting to hear back from these folks to share what they gained from it. If you were following social media during the month, you may have seen Darwin's Cats, for example, posted they had 100,000 acts of science about halfway through the month, which was a major big deal. So we're hoping to hear from them and hear from a lot of the others who were engaged with us over social media and engaged on a featured project basis to see what this accomplished for them. So be proud of yourself. Give yourself a big pat on the back. You were part of something really big. Yay! I might have one more slide. I don't remember. Oh, no, just kidding. We're good.
Thanks, Emma. That was great. And you'll see some more of these stats being published, and we'll create some one pagers and things that you're welcome to download and share as well, because this is your work as much as it is our work. So still more to come from Citizen Science Month 2025. You know what we don't have on here, Emma, which Darlene would be like, where is it? Citizen Science Month 2026. Do you have we should put a slide in for it. It's going to be big because it is also going to be celebrating America 250, which is a huge national campaign, and it's really big here in Philly, obviously, because the Declaration of Independence was signed here. So July 4th, 2026 is going to be a really fun day. And leading up to that, Citizen Science Month next year is really going to be celebrating that. So more to come on that as well. Now that we have this really engaged group, we're going to start doing Citizen Science Month prep as early as we can. So in the fall, you'll start to see a lot of new resources and planning and things like that. So let's hear about this year, though. We had, like Emma said, we had 70 different events. So we reached out to some ambassadors to share about what they did so that you all can learn from each other, really highlight some great events. I tried to choose folks from all across the country so we have some representation. And I think first up is Dr. Darren Gray. Go
Oh,
ahead,
thank
Dr.
you,
Gray.
thank you.
All you.
You can hear me fine? Yes. I'm coming to you live from my hometown, Detroit, which I'm always happy to be here. I've been in LA over 40 years, but Detroit is still home. So next slide. I'm the director of the USC Viterbi K through 12 STEM Center. And I sort of hit the ground running in the fall by getting involved in Squirrel Mapper. I got in January. In January we have the Squirrel Day, then the BioBlitz Challenge here in Los Angeles in the fall, and then the Great Backyard Bird Count. So I was really trying to get the notion of citizen science started early on, so that we could have a lot of participation during Citizen Science Month, and created some great partnerships with the Los Angeles Public Libraries and the Natural History Museum. Next slide. So in Citizen Science Month, these are the activities that I undertook. I drafted a number of my USC students to participate. We have something called City of STEM in the LA Maker Faire, and what that is, we have thousands and thousands of people come out to a central location. This year, it was over near the Natural History Museum, and a bunch of different organizations engage in STEM activities. So there's a lot of things like robotics and drones, which we had some of those as well. But I wanted kids to experience citizen science, and so we got some materials from the LA Public Library to share with the public their neighborhood science, because the word citizen is pretty charged, particularly here in Southern California. They use neighborhood science because of, you know, the connotations of citizens, but because we want everybody to participate. One of my colleagues, Vivian Bird, unfortunately, her house burned down in the Eaton fire. But what she did is she donated some of the soil, so that kids could actually do soil testing. And so I had two soil samples from the front of her house and the back of her house, and kids got a chance to do soil science testing and air, you know, as well as air quality testing at the City of STEM LA Maker Faire. And there were thousands of people who came through. And what was interesting is because we were doing the neighborhood science, we got a lot more people than I had expected, even though like I also had some drones and robots right next to it. Like we were doing drones, but more kids were more interested in, you know, doing the soil sampling. I got something, a soil sampling kit from Habitat Math, and then I got the air quality testing. So I had kids going around doing air quality testing as well, just to see the air quality stayed about the same, which is fairly good for Southern California. But you know, we still have the after impacts. And so what I wanted to do to engage kids is have them think about things that impact them, particularly as a result of the fires, you know, the soil testing and the air quality, which has changed significantly since the fires. So that was our first big thing during Citizen Science Month. Next slide. All right. The next thing we did was Los Angeles Unified School District has in their different regions. They're broken up into a bunch of different regions. I think there are 4 or 5 regions, and each of the regions host a STEAM Fest. And again, it's a lot of different organizations who that do STEM. Let's do STEAM. And it was rainy that day, so it was a bit of a challenge. But again, I had my students there, and kids were coming by and they were learning about citizen science. And the thing that we did at both events is you can see off to the side there are some certificates. So we handed out the SciStarter stickers, but we also gave each kid who did one of the experiments, we gave them a certificate, and we had gotten some books donated, so we got a chance to connect them. And then we showed off what 1 million acts of science, and then also displayed the public libraries do-it-yourself kit. So through their neighborhood science program, they have a lot of opportunities for people to check out kits that the library maintains in a bunch of different locations. And so we handed out a bunch of material, probably over, between the 2 events, over 400 flyers to families, so that they can see what the local library has to offer. Next slide. I think this is my last one. And then the Natural History Museum gets involved in the City Nature Challenge. And so what my goal was to promote just people getting involved using iNaturalist at the university itself, getting some of the undergraduates around the community. It's part of a larger program, but they allowed me to create my own project under the umbrella of the City Nature Challenge. And so we had a number of folks who were participating on campus. We actually have coyotes on campus now. There's a whole bunch of signs all over campus saying, if you see a coyote, it's not a dog, don't go up to it. Because for some reason, I don't know, with the fires and everything, and for those who've never been to USC, we are we're right in the middle of South Los Angeles, and so it's city all around us. So somehow the coyotes made their way from wherever they came onto campus, and there's lots of greenery and lots of other things, and we do have, because we have students that throw away food, so we have an entire ecosystem around that. But we were able to get some of the students to just make observations on campus. And so it was an incredible opportunity. We used our social media campaign. We did flyers, and shared it out across the entire area of the student body. So we're trying to get three different target populations. We're trying to get more of our kids that are involved in the school system, because we have a lot of programs in schools, our community outreach, as well as on campus, trying to get more of the students that are there on campus involved in citizen science. I think that's my last slide.
Wow, I don't even have words for that. Tremendous. Really. I think it demonstrates everything that we were hoping the ambassador program would do, which is increase partnerships, bring people together, right? Like LA is a place that there's a lot of citizen science happening, but maybe people aren't talking to each other well. So you're connecting, like the Natural History Museum and the library and all of that. Sometimes it takes somebody to intentionally do that. And I love that, the City Nature Challenge was one of the things, but I love that you brought in other projects too, like the air quality and the soil testing. All of that is amazing. Any questions for Darren? We'll do questions after each one, since everyone's pretty specific in their activities. You could type them in the chat too if you don't want to say them out loud. Nobody else is here.
You can email me if you have any questions as well.
Yeah. Great. All right, let's go to Branson at Farmington Public Library in Missouri.
Yes, so we're
I
gonna
always
go
want to say
from-
Montana because it's M-O, and I'm like, that's not right. I know you're not in Montana, Missouri.
right. So we'll go from LA to Farmington, Missouri. We've got a population of about 18,000, so a little bit different scope of things.
Right.
I work at our public library. I, for the last year, have been focused on STEM programming. And so I actually became familiar with SciStarter with the webinar that was done for libraries to tie in citizen science to STEM programming this summer. And I loved everything I heard at that webinar. I was like, this is super cool. I admit I really had no familiarity with citizen science at all before that. And so it has been kind of a very fast, let's learn as much as possible, as fast as possible sort of thing for me. But April turned out to be a great month for us. So if you go to the next slide, on the 1st of April, we had our displays up. Found so many great resources on the SciStarter website, the acts of the Citizen Science Month, and then also in the ambassador resources. And then the big hanging globe there was our attention getter. I don't suggest that anyone does that. That was a little bit crazy. We used a 42-inch beach ball and covered it with paper mache and then tissue paper, and it took a really long time. But I was able to listen to past webinars while I worked on that, which gave me more familiarity with everything that was going on. And then the next slide, we had our open house on the, oh, nope, sorry, going too fast. Yes, next slide. First, before the open house, we did put together 4 of
Wait, hold on. You do want the next slide?
I do.
Okay,
yes.
okay. Got
Sorry.
it. No, it's okay. I don't know if I was delayed.
No, I forgot which order I did things.
No, I do it all the time.
Because we put together the citizen science kits before the open house. So we did put together 4 of the kits. And I was super thankful to have the support of our library board and the room and the budget to do this. They have been a lot of fun, these kits, and it was so simple to put them together. I think that's a super resource for people to use. And then the next slide, we had kind of in the works some birding backpacks for a long time and decided to get those put together finally as well. So those have different, they have high quality binoculars in the one for all ages, and then a children's pair in the children's one, put together a bird bingo and just some other resources. Now, when we give those out, they also have information on eBird and Birdcast. And so we're making sure to keep that citizen science tie-in going with all of our existing STEM programming now as well. And then the next slide is the actual open house. And this was, like you said, with building connections. So we connected with groups who were already here, but maybe don't get the attention that they deserve. And people don't necessarily know about them. I know that I didn't know a lot about wild ones before I started working on this. 4-H has a whole curriculum for the Globe Observer Cloud program that I was not aware of. And then, I mean, even our community garden got on board and offered opportunities to come to the community garden for Project Sunflower. And so basically we just kind of gathered together all of the groups in our area that were already focused on things like biodiversity and birding and things like that, so that we could have people come in, meet everybody at once, just walk around. We provided folders with some basic SciStarter information, and then everybody had resources for them as they visited tables. So if you go to the next slide, we basically just set up all around our community room. We did have 49 people come. 4-H had given us Chromebooks and iPads to set up. So my husband did a lot of Zooniverse that night. We are a big Zooniverse family now. And so he had people of all ages teaching them how to do it. And they were so excited to know that just there while they were at the event, they had done, 15, 20 acts of science. We had the stream team come in from Missouri Department of Conservation. He had really cool resources. So there was just so much going on. We had so much fun that night. And then we did continue throughout the month. We handed out little cards where people could report their acts of science to us at the library. We came up with about 5,000. We almost hit 5,000 acts of science as a library. So that was exciting. We continued to post on social media. Yeah, there was a lot going on. And then the next slide, one of the cool things that came from that, oh, I almost forgot the free lead tests. Our city donated lead tests so that we could give those out. I did do an Earth Day watch party, but that wasn't quite as attended. However, the conversations with people who were there were fantastic. So sometimes it's almost a benefit to have a small group so that you can really engage in deeper conversations. And then maybe the next slide. Yes, there we go. So then at the end of the month, this was cool. One of the local schools came in and they said, hey, we have loved seeing all of the science stuff on your social media. Would you like to display our award-winning science fair exhibits? And so we just lined our whole hallway with science fair projects from kids in our area. And then I made that connection with that teacher to go in next school year and talk about citizen science. How can you take what you're doing in these science projects and connect it with actual researchers? And so I'm super excited about that. So yeah, we just had all kinds of stuff going on. We had so much fun.
Obsessed. And I just have to say, Branson, you're cohort 4, right?
Yes.
So you had like zero time to get this all together, and somehow you did. I think you were onboarded in late March.
Yeah.
And so it is, evidence that this can be done.
And I do have a great coworker who
Right.
also, got to give her a shout out. My coworker Lori, she was already, she's an avid bird watcher. Her husband works in conservation, so she also jumped on board and helped me with a lot of this as well. But yeah, it was a very fast turnaround, but we're just loving it. And then we're continuing. So this month we've handed out, we will be at 71 more lead tests handed out. That was we did crowd the tap as our focus for this month. Next month, so our goal is kind of just to focus on a different project every month. Next month we go into summer reading, where we're using iNaturalist for rainbow walk and just all kinds of fun stuff going
I
on.
love it. I love it. And speaking of summer reading, Emma and I have a fun thing we'll share about in a second, but we want to do another like live library stream to tie Color Our World in so that like patrons can come. So we'll talk to you about that because we want to know when the best time is to do it and the format and all of that. But
Awesome.
yeah, great. Love all, yes, love the community connections, love all of this. Thank you for sharing. Okay, and our next duo is our first mother and daughter SciStarter ambassador duo, Lakeitra and Desiree Calloway.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Lakeitra Calloway. I'm a little sad that I had to go last since they had such impressive
Oh, stop.
events. But I'll tell you what brought me here. I'm actually a former high school business teacher, and I'm a current doctoral student. So the research is actually what brought me to SciStarter because that's my passion besides business. But again, was a really great month. Really enjoyed doing the events as well as going to the events. I learned a lot because I'm nerdy like that. But let me get into the actual presentation so I can give time to Desiree in the end. But
Yeah, and also look at the backgrounds, everyone. Look at these homemade backgrounds. I'm absolutely obsessed. Brilliant.
Well, I can't take credit for it. I had to give it to Desiree.
I figured that wasn't you. No offense.
It wasn't me. I'm a little bit more mature, as we say. This was the front page of my actual presentation. I did want to take a few minutes to tell you how this event came together, what we actually planned, what actually was presented, and what stood out the most from a behind the scenes perspective. The presentation, you can go to the next slide. The presentation was designed to spotlight citizen science, not just as a concept, but as a tool for awareness, action, and engagement. From the very start, our goal was to create a program that was balanced in science, storytelling, and interactivity. Now, I'm going to be honest, as a doctoral student, I can really get into the data and the information, so I didn't want to overload the participants with the information, so I tried to keep the slides really simple, really colorful, and engaging. So we selected projects that were meaningful, accessible, and visually engaging, so that they can kind of have a real world attachment and impact. So again, I mean, we all here because of the April Citizen Science Month, saying the goal of doing the 1 million acts, which we far exceeded. So I'm really excited about that, to have been a part of that. But again, I focused on, I'm gonna say 4 main projects. Mine's actually did the gamut. I tried to spread across the projects that we had so I can touch on every person to show that, one, that had variety, and that 2, that there was a project for everyone. So the 4 main ones that I'm going to talk about tonight is eBird, which was developed by the Cornell Lab. I'm not gonna say the last part because I'm gonna mess it up, so I'm not gonna say it. But basically, I walked them through the platform and how to do the observations, how to record it, and shared how the data informs migration maps and bird conservation strategies. It's such a powerful tool, and it's beautifully simple. I mean, you observe it, you log it, and then you contribute. The second one was the urban birds, which I used this picture to kind of depict it. I'll be honest, I grew up on a farm, so watching birds was a break from, dealing with the cows, the pigs, the chickens that I had to attend to. So I used to have my little binoculars and set out on the little swing and kind of watch them. I still watch them as an adult. I do kind of watch people sometimes, but I think the birds are a little more interesting, to say the least. But again, like I say, it brought the culture and the artistic layer to our discussion. and it encouraged people to observe birds in a city environment, which a lot of people say, well, I'm not from the city, but they say, something like it's too busy, it's not enough resources, I don't have enough time because I'm always moving, saying, but science can happen anywhere. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so this slide, bats counts and bees count is another two projects that SciStarter featured, and I like them. One because it brought some humor to my presentation. Because if you're having fun, you're learning, whether you're an adult or a child. So we have this little riddle me puzzle here about bats. So I mean, I like Batman, but I don't necessarily like bats. I do stay close to Austin, and that's kind of their thing here. The bats here. I don't go see them. I don't like them. So again, I like I like Batman, just not the bats. But I thought it was interesting to add to this part. And then the bees. I do have experience with the bees because I'm an avid gardener. I actually sit on the board and have a garden in my backyard and in the community garden. So it's really important to kind of focus on those things. People, I'm gonna say, don't pay enough attention to bees. We like our avocados, we like our honey in our teas, but we don't think about it when we're swatting them away, how incredibly important they are. Um, actually, I shared an interesting fact with the audience about how much they actually contribute, like the $15 million, $15 billion they actually contribute to our actual economy. Um, and you can go to the next slide. I'm trying to save time for Desire, so if it seems like it's rushed, I'm
No,
sorry.
you have plenty of
Okay.
time. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Okay. The Our Naturalist. I like this one because this is where every bug gets his mugshot. It's a really simple app to use. I mean, anybody can do it. You can do it as a family. Kids can do it. Um, it's kind of like the broader ecosystem lens of our actual session. I really like introducing Our Naturalist because it helps keeps things light while explaining a serious and robust platform. Now, from my personal highlights, the transitions between projects were intentionally designed to build momentum, each kind of connected to the next and moving into from the birds to the pollinators to the entire ecosystem, which kind of gave that little ramp up, injecting the humor, which I hope it was humorous. If not, saying, please just laugh anyway. It helped keep the tone approachable because some people feel like science is like really stuffy. It's boring, saying all those things that they say about accounting, saying, which is the other piece that I do. But basically, it just made it fun and relatable. The multimedia elements, from the visuals to interactive questions, kept the energy up and helped reinforce our key concepts. For like I say, talking about the bees, the $15 billion contribution to our economy. Um, Something else interesting that I shared here in Texas, specifically, I know that 80% of the honeybees died, so only 20% of them survived. So scientists themselves cannot solve this problem. They're baffled. So this is really important that we all get engaged with this, saying, as citizen scientists, we talk about this so that we can be a part of the solution. Lessons learned. Oh, I learned a lot. As a former teacher, sound like we do a lot of documentation, so that we learn from the things that we did, what went great, what didn't, what we would do different. The flow and pacing does matter. Balancing facts with stories and humor help maintain engagement. But again, if I am going to do it again, so next time I'm going to build more short video clips and demonstrations. A strong visual narrative is key. The slides were designed to be clean, colorful, and content rich without overwhelming the audience, because I can definitely do that as a doctoral student. And I try not to be so heavy on the actual wording piece and more on the visual piece so that they can make that connection, especially for children. I found that it made it simpler even for me to explain the concepts. Prep for the tech-based demos. Okay, this is where I had the most challenges with. I actually did my event at a library, and we were in a conference room, and the technology was not nice to me that day. I could see my presentation, everything looked great, but I couldn't hear a sound. So instead of saying, "Are we there yet?" I kept saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" So they kind of got me frazzled a little bit, but you know, what I'm saying, after I realized that the audience could, it went fine. After that, additionally, this was a hybrid event, so note to self: have additional people to help. You know, what I'm saying, like a couple of people for the virtual piece of it, and a person or two for the actual in-person people, because trying to do all those things was very I'm gonna say it was very busy for me, you know what I'm saying? So it took away from the effectiveness of the presentation. Not that it wasn't good, but it could have been better. Ultimately, the presentation was about celebration of the community and science, which I think I was able to accomplish that. Um, from a host perspective, it was deeply rewarding to guide that journey and to help people, you know, saying, get introduced to citizen science, um, and you know, saying, to share my joy of research, and add some little humor into and purpose into what we were doing. So I want to thank y'all for being patient with me and allowing me to share my experience, um, and just to be a part of this organization as an ambassador. I hope that I inspire others, you know, saying, that haven't quite got there yet on doing the event, to get out there and do it. Even if you're scared, do it. Even if it's not perfect, do it. Because you know, someone needs this, and it does make a difference. One small act, you know, saying, can make a great impact. So I'm going to start talking
That was
so that I can
amazing.
so I can introduce my daughter, Desari. They always say, you know, say, keep your heads out of the clouds, but I'm going to tell you, get up there and stay in the clouds, you know, saying, as Desari presents her presentation.
Amazing. Take it over.
Thank you. Hello everyone. My name is John Kelly. As was said, I'm excited to share what I've been working on. This was my first event, so I was really excited to go towards something that I was more passionate about. And I've always loved watching clouds. So I was growing up and working with kids, even because in Girl Scouts, I was always kind of like the older girl. So I was more in charge of working with the little kids and like keeping them engaged. And so I really wanted to go and make an event that kind of touches on both of my passions. And so I came up with Cloud Quest. And Cloud Quest is a fun adventure that uses NASA's Global Observer Clouds project that allows them to learn about clouds, cloud facts, and like actually put in real world data, even if they're like kids and all that. And so I wanted to like promote a fun thing that wasn't per se a class, but an adventure, because I really wanted to make sure that it wasn't boring for the kids. So what I did is I made a big presentation that had a feel of like an old video game. I think the term would be like 8-bit. And I created a fun little adventure with our cute little guide here. Her name is Nimbus. She's our cloud guardian. She guided the people who get into the event through the adventure, with the journey and the information. And through it, they matched cloud types with pictures. They participated in a fun little thing that I may or may have not have borrowed from Pee Wee Herman, 12 Words of the Day, that were hidden throughout the slides, and they were funny, at least I think they were funny, cloud jokes and cool myths about clouds around the world. I especially had fun with the words of the day because as they popped up, the kids would like say the words and shout out and the actions that were related to it. And it was fun to like keep them engaged. If you would like to go to the next slide, please. Another thing I did was I talked more about how the clouds have an effect on our environment. And so I talked about how it's really important with the water cycle and how it affects our food. Another thing I did was I talked about how they can use the app with their parents' help. So they can be able to go outside and have fun figuring out the like big old sky things and like learning the types. And I was really excited, but I was also really nervous about all of this because public speaking is not really one of my strong suits, but with my mom's help and a little bit of ounce of confidence, I was able to get through it. I learned that even if it's scary and you don't know if you're like, this is a strong suit, even as like you like push through it, it actually gets easier and easier, and eventually like you get used to it and it's not as scary. Um, I think things that went really well was the game format, like having fun with like different games and activities, and the like fun little characters and all that, because the kids really enjoyed the like story aspect of it, where like they got to like go on this little journey, little adventures, and earn their like patches and like go against like this bigger challenge. And so I really enjoyed it. It was a really fun vibe in the room during the entire event. Um, if you would like to go to the next slide, it's on that side, I believe. This how I had the thing out. They got a chart and a diagnosis key. That way they can like figure out how to do the time watching with the friends and family. And I think something that I've learned is that even with a good structure, everything can be done with confidence and ease. And as well as that to keep kids engaged, you need to have something that's interactive and fun, which I kind of knew from Girl Scouts, but it was more fun to see how I can keep it going with science. For a future project, I would love to do something that has to do with space, because when I was in Girl Scouts, I went to space camp twice, and so I love space, and I would love to share my love of space with other kids and get them inspired to do things like become astronauts and go into the engineering field. Um, and that's all I really have. I know that this is kind of short, so I'll give it back over to our host and open the floor to questions.
I'm blown away. The amount of projects that could use this level of engagement and your expertise in making things fun for youth is knows no bounds. And we will be definitely Emma's messaging me like, we need Desari's expertise on creating choose your own adventure citizen science training. So we will be in touch with other thoughts that we have. Amazing. And thank
Look
you for
forward to it.
presenting. What did you say?
I said look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that both of you also touched on not just what you did, but your approach to this, which is so important because we can talk about citizen science as much as we want. If we're not hooking people and engaging people and making it meaningful and fun, then it's not going to stick. So these are you both shared really good strategies for making learning sticky and fun and thank you. That was really great. I didn't stop for questions for Branson. Sorry, Branson, but anybody have questions for Branson, Desari, or Lakitra or Darren? We can open it up, and please, at this point, we can share too if anybody else has exciting projects that they did during Citizen Science Month that they want to share. Please do. We have about 5 minutes for open sharing, and then we'll wrap up.
The pressure is on. What
Yeah,
did you do that matches up to these folks?
right.
Sorry to set you up for that. If it helps, I can also we have pictures from the Soldier to Scientist friend Mike Kahn, one of your fellow ambassadors, did an event out in Manassas near me, and I got to meet him and take pictures of bugs. And so I would love to share a picture of that just to show other things that are happening once I find it, which I think I'll find it quite quickly. I'm gonna hijack your screen share
Please do.
to a large grouping of photos. So here's a fellow ambassador setting up a kestrel or taking down a kestrel bird. What are they called? I can't think of everything
Birdhouse? I don't know what.
A
Birdhouse?
cavity nest.
Yes, yes, thank you. And so they were redesigning them so that they could have better rooftops for it and banding new kestrels. So very exciting time with the volunteers. And then where are they? Oh, here they are. We had a really great group of Blue Star families that are they're all active military families who came out to do the Bio Blitz during City Nature Challenge too. So got some great pictures of that. So things are all kinds of different types of events happening across the time. I wish I had pictures from the Virginia Beach example. If anyone here is from Virginia Beach, I don't know if I saw them in here, but I'll do a quick look. But that was also a great event. Ooh, Rachel, thank you. I utilized a library resource, Canopy, with a K, which has many PPR films and Tide films, Rachel Carson and Intelligent Trees, to CS projects. I had several adults come to both screenings and appreciate the resources I shared. Yes, I remember that, I think. Awesome. Sweet. Michelle from Virginia Beach. Why am I confusing names? There's like 5 of you from Virginia Beach Library, and I'm the worst.
I was going to jump in and mention the Facebook group as well, because I love seeing everybody post their stuff in there. I remember Rachel's posts, and there are some others too, especially display ideas and things like that, sharing resources, super helpful.
If you're not on the Facebook, Emma will drop a link in that chat because I don't know how to get that link, Emma.
I did want to mention too, I think, Melanie, forgive me, was this you, the Discord conversation? That was you,
Yeah.
okay. We have a potential Discord too, if anyone wants to try out Discord. I'm not super familiar, but we can send it in the follow-up emails, like, here's another avenue in case you don't want to do Facebook or you want to do both. We have another avenue headed your way, so.
Yeah, for folks who don't know Discord, might know Slack, like it's kind of like Slack, it's more like a chat, kind of a chat feature type thing.
I wasn't gonna call out Desari, but I was like, oh, Desari is definitely on Discord. As our like youngest ambassador, maybe Desari needs to be the one to start.
Can
you make Zari an admin?
Yeah, Desari might be an admin. I was like, there's no way Desari's on Facebook.
Are you not on Facebook? Is that a thing now?
You are or you're not?
I am.
Okay, all right.
I'm on both.
We're not that
All
old.
right. I mean, I'm barely on it, but yeah, I knew you would be on Discord. Yeah, so that might be a good thing to definitely start as well, I think. Let's continue that conversation.
I think this is the right link for the Facebook.